Happy Sunday, 7 o'clock in Texas. We'll get started here in just a minute. Thanks for joining us. Wow, okay, that's more of a delay because I was... You have to click Premiere in your own Premiere to make it run live. It was like 30 seconds behind already. Oh my goodness, okay. All right, let me mute that. Let me unmute this. I know I'm talking to you guys, so good evening to everybody. Thank you for joining tonight. We got home about... Well, I got home about 3 hours ago. And we're going to talk all about the Moore Expo in Springfield, Missouri, tonight on the show. So thanks for joining, everyone. Ham Radio 2.0 Sunday night live stream. Special shout out to those folks in the chat with green text in their names. Let's see. Let's do KB8DXN, W0RHP, Diego. Greetings, Diego. Other Andy, AA0AM, AC3IK. And somebody else was in there earlier. Oh, there's Jeff, N0NQD. YouTube channel members, thank you for supporting the channel. Appreciate you guys being here tonight and watching the live stream. So we're just going to hop right into it. And I created kind of a new scene for us tonight. Let's unmute these guys. Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's happening?
Oh, not much. I set the format up like you see on the screen now, and now I got to let Frank in, so it's going to foobar everything. But, oh well.
Doesn't it all? It always does that.
There's nothing new with that.
Yeah. Letting Frank in generally throws off your plans of somewhere. So
that's why I never let him in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, that actually looks okay. All right, good. That's not as uneven as I thought it would be. What's up, Billy? Modern Ham in the chat. Everybody say hi to Billy.
Hey, Billy.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. So appreciate
it's been a while.
How'd your stream go, Frank? I didn't catch it. I don't know if you heard me say. I got home about 3 hours ago. Mm-hmm. I had to get my thumbnail created, this stream created, and my email sent.
So it sounds like you had an extra hour to come by and join the stream. Both of you. So
I absolutely did, and I chose to sit and do nothing for the first hour today. That I have actually done that.
We welcome back Scott, back to the land of the living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Billy says he lurks in the shadows.
That's right. Yeah,
he's the terror that quacks in the night.
Yeah, right.
I was about to say some of you might get that.
Yeah.
Just dating myself.
Dude, amazing.
I recognize that, but I can't place where it's from.
Oh, Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck.
Oh, see, I was gonna say
Howard the Duck.
I was gonna say Howard the Duck.
Yeah, there you go.
Howard the Duck.
I was gonna say Howard the Duck.
I love that.
So yeah.
Howard the Duck.
Howard.
Howard.
Jason, why aren't you sending us video?
I am. Oh no, I'm not either.
You are not. There you go.
That'll work.
Because you are not as important as my YouTube audience, Frank. I hate to tell you this, but
shocking.
That is just the way it is.
Well, sir.
Just the way it is. So, good deal. All right. Well, thank you. Like I said, we're kind of ad-libbing here for a little bit while people join in the stream. Izzo's in the chat. W1FYG. So thanks for joining, Don.
Go to my channel, Izzo. Click that bell because I didn't see you in our chat.
Ah, well,
he may have been working.
He knows which channels to watch, I think. So, yeah, that's a thing. So cool. Okay, so we Shane and Kyle and I were at the Moore Expo this past weekend. We left on Shane and I left together early Thursday morning. and we drove. It's only about a 6-hour drive, which I'm telling you right now, a 6-hour drive for me is like, yeah, big deal. I mean, 6.5 hours. That's nothing. It takes me 5 hours to get to Galveston. Frank, you were talking about Corpus Christi. It's actually closer to 8 or 9 hours to Corpus Christi, depending on which route you go. But it only took 6.5 hours to get to Springfield, Missouri, after driving through most of Oklahoma.
Missouri.
Missouri. Like Mel Whitten says. Missouri.
Yes. Missouri.
Yes, Missouri.
So,
Three, Missouri.
We had a really good time at the show. I was Shane. That was your first time.
Yes, my first time at any type of overlanding show.
Right. Yes. Okay. So tell us what you thought about it.
Yeah, tell us.
I had I had these preconceived notions that it was just going to be a bunch of just a crowd of endless people, and it was just common annoyance the entire time. Couldn't have been further from the truth. Because first off, the camping idea, I'm glad they do that, because everybody we ran across was nice. They had something to share. If you had questions, if you're just like, hey, what's that thing and why do you have it? Probably some of the most, other than hams, and hams are pretty friendly people most of the time, but other than hams, that community is fantastic.
It is.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And everybody that walked by, even when we were just sitting around, the campfire, when we were sitting around the campfire, shooting the breeze, it's like people would just come by and say hi, or hey, what are y'all doing? Hey, your thing looks cool, your setup looks cool. So it was just it was that aspect of it was awesome. I was blown away by the stuff that was inside, the vehicles, the displays, all that. I've seen some overlanding vehicles, but I hadn't seen anything like I saw the outside in the parking lot and the ones that were inside, especially that ginormous. I don't know if it's a Power Wagon or a 550 or what it was, but
the F550,
it was massive.
That thing was huge.
But it was so cool. But it was a lot of fun.
I have said before that because of the not only the complexity, but also like the prices of some of the stuff. I'm like, if you got any of these OM hams to come by one of these shows and look at all the prices, their heads would explode, right?
Yeah.
And then but that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that then you go out in the parking lot and you see that people actually own all of this. How many of those items they've put on their vehicle, and they're like, okay, so that's for sale inside, and you have 3 of them right there. Let's see. Plus you have this.
They will complain about the prices, and then they'll say, oh, new K4 from Elecraft. Thank you.
Right. Well, that's true. Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. And some of them complain about prices and also call Baofeng's cheap. So make up your mind. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, an excellent show. Very friendly. Yeah, everybody's very friendly. So my wife is in the chat. I saw her in there earlier. I hope she's listening to me right now.
So what didn't you buy for her?
Well, I you know what? I was counting on my drive. Okay, you're segueing me here, Frank, but that's okay.
But that's what I'm supposed to do.
I know. I was counting the things. I knew I had bought something on Friday, and I couldn't remember what it was. So I was going all the stuff in my head that I saw and didn't buy. So I'm like, after going through that whole list of what I didn't buy, I actually feel pretty good about myself.
Me too.
Me too.
Because, we made these shirts that, I survived.
Yes.
Ham radio invasion. So we need to do something like that for survived. Myself and my credit card survived the Moore Expo.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
You were burning it up pretty good,
that's
Shane.
Great. Yeah.
I bought.
It was the goat tread. It was the goat treads. I couldn't remember. I was like, I know I bought something on Friday. What was it? And it was the goat tread. I bought $20 worth of stickers and patches. I'm like, that's not it. I bought something. Oh yeah, it was the goat treads. And that's all I bought on Friday. And then we went and got the Devos outdoor lighting stuff. And
I was going to say, y'all did that. I just got a new set of wheels.
Yeah,
wheels.
Shane bought a whole new set of wheels for his.
You went to an overlanding convention and bought wheels?
Yeah.
Dude, well, yeah. Why not? They were like 25% off.
They were 25% off, free shipping, and no sales tax.
Yeah.
Free shipping on
wheels.
So
they're gonna
like
ship them to me, and they're 28 pounds a piece.
So closer to like 40 to 45% off. Probably,
oh, easy, yeah.
If you count all that stuff, so yeah.
Wow.
So the reason I was saying this is because I've gotten my wife. Now I said this to her the other day. She's like, "Oh no, I started that by myself." No, you didn't. I've gotten my wife into watching van life videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, by the way, babe, you're in the chat. I don't think I told you this or not, but Kyle and I were talking about van life videos, and he's like, "Yeah, I watched this girl that I like. Her name's Maddie Taylor," and I'm like, "Dude, we watch her." So we kind of, Kyle watches Maddie Taylor, and I was like, "Did you see the build video that she did?" And he's like, "Yeah." So anyway, but this guy drove by just yesterday, like yesterday evening. This was after you left, Shane. He had a 2016. I asked him what it was. I'm like, "Dude, what is that?" Because it was a Ford diesel. It was a Ford Transit van. Which that's their what I call their Sprinter van. Sprinter's a Mercedes term, but it's kind of like that style of van.
Yeah.
It was a Ford Transit, and I walked up to him and I'm like, "Hey, do you mind if I ask you about your van?" He's like, "No," like what you were saying, Shane. He was real nice. He was like, "No, come in here, look at this. Look." He and his brother had bought it. They had gutted it out, or I think they bought it where it was gutted out. They had done a build out, a queen size bed in the back, a full kitchen, a full bathroom, shower, toilet, everything.
Ooh.
And he said it's like 90% done. He had some green rocks still in the shower, and I'm like, "Dude, that's cool. I mean, you're using it, so that's great." So, but that was, and I'm like, "Okay, so what is it?" And I asked about the engine. It looked like it was a 4-wheel drive. It was not a 4-wheel drive. But it was. I've been a Ford guy for a long time, and I like the Mercedes ones, but they're kind of pricey.
Yeah.
And the Dodge ProMasters are very nice looking. That's what Maddie Taylor drives. And she did a build-out video. And that's what I wanted. I want to buy a van that I can build out. So I talked to him about that for a good half hour, and he was just very friendly, very like, "Oh, yeah, we did this, and check this out, and look at this, and get up in there. Go ahead and walk up in there," and that kind of thing. So,
was that the blue van behind Justin's rig?
Yes.
Yeah.
It looked more gray to me, but yes. It might have been dark blue. Yeah, I don't remember exactly. But yes, that was it. Yeah, I just walked up to the dude. He didn't know who I was. I didn't know who he was. I just like, "Hey, do you mind?" "Oh, no, that's fine."
Will you show me the candy inside your van?
Exactly. Yeah. You should get a free candy overlanding. That should be. Yeah, we should build a van and call it free candy overlanding. So, because Kyle was talking about how everybody out there names their rigs.
Yes,
so
everyone has got it.
Everyone has a name for it.
Something overlanding.
Truck?
Yeah, you have to, like, if you get into overlanding, and I guess maybe if you get any piece of equipment that goes on your truck or your Jeep or your whatever, you have to put a name on your vehicle then.
Yes.
You have to call it something.
Right.
Am
you have
I
to
the
call
only
it something.
one here they named their vehicle?
No. This is not just to name your vehicle like Sully.
Right.
Frank, we've already had that discussion about what you named your vehicle.
This is
but I'm not trying to open that up again.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
just trying to find out who hasn't named their car.
Yeah.
I haven't named my car.
Okay.
T-Ray says, "Oh yeah, I watched all of her Mexican videos." To clarify what he means by that, she drove her van to Mexico and spent like a month in Baja.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
On the beach and whatnot. And those were that was a pretty area. And I'm like, so I wouldn't even know what kind of paperwork and steps and plans you have to make to drive across the border and stay for that long.
Get a visa.
That was
visiting visas, though.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, to take a vehicle though, it was probably surely more than that. So I don't know.
I've driven across the border a couple times
and stayed for like a month.
No.
Okay.
No, you just have to have a visa for if you're going to stay.
Oh, okay.
Because like I think whenever you go through the airport, that's good for 30 or 60 days.
I think it's 30 days.
Visit? Yeah.
Anything longer, you have to have a visa and
you get a tourist visa.
But there's what did I'm blanking on his name, Bob. What did Bob say? The longest he can stay is 240 days before he has to come back and get another visa.
Oh yeah, something. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The Dorsick said she did a whole video on preparation.
She did. And I think I watched like the first few minutes of that and then I got distracted by something. I need to go back and watch that. But yeah, she did a whole video on the preparation. So yeah.
45 auto, Frank, you don't get covered in glitter when you get in an overlanding vehicle.
Oh.
So you have glitter in your car?
No.
He's got a Barbie doll car. I would think he's got glitter of some sort of it. So
can I say one thing? Mike,
you can.
MRD. When he was up here, when we were doing our thing, when he spent a night here, I took him to our cigar bar, and as we're walking out, he goes, "Oh, let me tell y'all one thing," and he dressed everyone in the room, including the guys who at the cigar lounge. Did Frank tell you the name of his car?
Oh my goodness.
And yet I have let that down every time I come in, and they're like, "Oh," and they tell me the car name, which
that's going to be your new nickname.
No.
So Frank, in Frank's defense, he does want to buy some sort of older Jeep Cherokee or Grand Cherokee or Cherokee. So
I texted that guy.
This is what I found for him.
Did you take a picture of it
yesterday?
I texted him.
He didn't have it there.
That's the one we walked by, right?
I thought that was another one.
No, that was the one that
no, that was
there.
the one.
Was it the one we walked by? Okay. So no, because he had a picture of it on the sign, and it looked different than the one he had there. The one on the sign looked like it had been jacked up with larger tires on it. So maybe it was an older picture of that same thing. I don't know. Anyway, this guy, 94 Jeep Grand Cherokee with a 5.2 liter V8.
I texted him today.
He had a lot of stuff. And what'd he say?
It's tow package.
Okay.
I need to do some research on it, but it's in Wichita, Kansas.
Yep.
That's easy.
That's an easy drive.
That's easy drive. Yeah. It's 5-6 hours.
You can even put it, go to U-Haul, rent a car hauler, go up there, pick it up, bring it back.
So I pick it up and I use the call hauler to drive my car back.
Well,
so
no, you'd have to have Jason use his truck because
your
Barbie doll car can't pull it.
I used the Jeep to pull the car back.
Oh, well, you could do that. You could do that, but we can take, dude. It's 5-6 hours to get to Wichita, Kansas. We could do that. We could do that on a Friday. Meet the guy. You can drive it around, and we'll drive back with it. It's not a big deal.
The stream is already off the rails.
It is. Yeah.
What rails?
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah,
we're talking.
We're talking about the Moore Expo. So yeah. So anyway, so now I went to the Moore Expo last year. This is my second year to go. The weather was a little bit colder this year, but it did not rain. Or at least not when we were there. It rained Thursday morning before we got there.
Yeah, we chased the rain in.
Right. And I said this last year, and then I kind of mentioned it like a month or two ago on a live stream, and I've talked about it. I've talked about this show several times on my Friday shopping videos, saying, "Hey, here's some upcoming events. It's Moore Expo." After doing this, Kyle was there last year. And that was the first time we met my friend Justin, KI5PDO, and Carlos. You guys met Carlos at Hamcation. He's the FedEx pilot that has an HF radio in the plane, and he talks from Aeronautical Mobile on HF.
KB4CO.
Okay, I couldn't remember his call sign. Thank you, KB4CO. So it was the first time I met Justin and Carlos face to face, and I've talked to both of them several times throughout the year. And I told people that I'm like, I met 2 ham radio operators at the show last year that I've cultivated friendships with. This year, now I'm getting to I have a point here. I'm getting here in a second. This year, I bet I met 8 or 10 people.
I was going to say at least 8 that I remember.
At least that. I had probably 3 or 4 walk up to me and say, "Hey, thanks for your show. I watch your show all the time." But I'm just talking about meeting people who are already hams. 8 or 10, maybe a little bit more, 11 or 12 people who were already hams. We stopped, we were walking back to camp on Saturday night, and I think it was Saturday night. It was Friday night. We were walking back to camp on Friday night, and this guy had a portable outdoor shower with a little, kind of like a little outdoor curtain, a shower curtain. And Kyle was asking about it because he was looking at one of the displays indoors. And so we're talking to this dude for like 5 or 10 minutes. And after we he runs this portable outdoor shower with a water heater on propane and 12 volts. I should have given us a clue there.
Mm-hmm.
And after talking to him for almost 10 minutes, all 3 of us are just kind of standing there asking him questions. "Oh, how do you do this?" "Okay, cool. He turns to me and is like, "Hey, by the way, I watch your show all the time. Thanks for that." I'm like, "Holy crap!" Okay, so you're a ham. And I was like, "Are you a ham?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's why you 12 volted everything. It makes sense now. I got it."
That was we were walking around doing the antenna stroll. We were walking around asking people what their antennas were.
Right.
Yep.
Correct.
That's what it was.
We saw, we saw the Wolf River Coil that day too.
Yes.
Right.
What was the ratio on the antenna walk from GMRS to CB to ham?
Almost no CB.
I don't see. Really? Yeah, I think almost all of them were GMRS that I saw.
Most of them were GMRS. There were a few ham antennas.
There was a problem though.
Ooh, what was the problem?
Hams not carrying radios.
I was about to get to that. Yes. Yeah, pretty much everyone we met, we're like, "Hey, do you have a radio?" "Oh, no, I didn't bring it." I'm like,
"Dude, you have that problem at a ham convention."
Well, that's true.
I mean, we were on
yes,
5.2 all day, and we were on 5.2 at the campsite. Like, we were IDing like every so often, just saying, "Hey, if anybody's out there, we're here." Silence.
Right.
I was disappointed.
One guy came back to us Saturday morning, and he ended up being in the presentation I made that morning. So I think that's the only reason he turned it on, because he knew he was going to my presentation. I don't know. Maybe not.
I like Don's comment here. Kyle, did you take the rubber duck into the shower?
I take my rubber ducky everywhere.
What rubber duck was it?
My yellow one.
Nice. That being said, talking real fast. Rubber ducks. I went down and activated Cedar Hill State Park this weekend.
Good.
And I tweeted a photo of me and the mallard ducks that were literally walking past me as I was activating.
Oh wow!
I flashed back to the clubhouse stream last week.
With Junie,
awesome. Yeah.
And,
right,
and Jason, how many people that were? I guess they were GMRS people. And we were like, "Hey, have you thought about getting your ham license?" And they're like, "Yeah, I did, but the thing is too hard and blah blah blah." And when we broke it down for them, that you could literally take a 1-day course, they're like, "What? Really?"
Yeah.
Why do they think it's it's too hard? It's just because it's a test administered by the FCC, or
because somebody at some point in time told them it was.
Yep.
Probably.
And they didn't dig into it.
And they didn't. Yeah. So this is a picture of the room about 20 minutes before my session started. I have the first session at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, and they had like 5 or 6 sessions about just various topics, and I had the only radio session. There was another guy that had a radio session there immediately after mine last year. Mine was about ham radio, and this guy did a radio session, and he talked about GMRS, ham, CB, everything.
So how many?
And he was a ham. Yeah, I had less this year. There were more people there this year than there was last year, but I had less people in my presentation this year than I did last year.
There's probably
that's
13, 14, 15 people.
Okay.
Something like that.
The whole back row, because Kyle had like 4 people next to him, and I had
something like that.
That guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I had
couple of guys in the back row kept talking to Shane and Kyle, and they're like,
like, he's giving a presentation. Would you shut up?
I'm trying to listen. Shut up.
Right. Yeah, because I was saying stuff that Shane and Kyle had no idea. They'd never heard that before. So
it's like he needed to listen because he didn't know the difference between an Ocean and a Bowfang.
Right, apparently not. Yeah. So I did this presentation. It's called How to Get Started in Ham Radio, and I showed everyone the link to the presentation, to the live stream we did last November with Dan, KB6NU, and he took us through like 6.5 hours of his no-nonsense technician study guide where you can get licensed with just that. You can watch the video for free. You can download his study guide for free in PDF format. And I told everybody that, and they're like, okay, what's the name of that again? So a lot of people were writing it down.
What was unique about that no-nonsense guide that hasn't been done before?
I don't know that it hasn't been done before, but, like the W5YI book and the ARRL book, they go into a lot of detail about the why behind every question. Dan's stuff just touches on the points that you need to know for the test, because Dan's philosophy is get your license, study the bare minimum, get your license, and then start learning. And there's a lot of truth to that. And I just put out that video last week that says 4 ways to get your ham radio license in 2023. And I said in that video, I was like, people learn differently. Some people want all the why behind it. Some people want all of the formulas and whatnot. Some people want the history. Nothing wrong with that. But some people just like, I just want to get my license so I can get on the air. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I said the only wrong way to do it is to not do it, in my opinion. So
I agree. If I understand the why, though, you can throw me in any question and I can answer it.
But you can learn the why later after you get on the air and start tinkering with radios.
But some of it's formula based.
More Expo. Let's talk about Moore Expo.
Yeah. So
you're derailing the whole conversation.
Very
That's
good.
What Frank normally does as a co-host.
That is, yeah. So we could talk more about this later. So Kyle and I were talking. Shane left last night. Kyle and I were talking this morning. And as we're cleaning up, it took us an hour and a half or so to clean up all the stuff. In fact, where's the picture? Okay, there's our camp right there. So my truck's there on the left, and that's Shane's truck in the back there with the rooftop tent, and then Kyle's truck is behind the camera right there. So we kind of
Buddy Stick Pro.
That is the Buddy Stick
Were we
Pro.
doing ham radio at
we
an
set up,
convention?
yeah. Shane set up the Buddy Stick Pro with the 7300 and was hunting POTA on Friday night. Or was it Friday night or Thursday night?
Thursday night.
Thursday night. And people walk by and they're like, "Oh, hey, are you guys on the air?" And some people actually knew what it was. So that was cool. Anyway, we kind of set up the trucks in a semicircle there, kind of like a 3-wall square horseshoe type thing. And Colin and I were talking this morning, and we're like, there's a very big ham radio presence at this show already. And they don't come here to do ham radio, but they are already hams, and there's other people who come to the show who are interested in ham radio. So why don't we do, like, sometime around, it's going to be in April again next year. I looked on the website, and I couldn't find that they had set the dates yet. I don't know. But, and I know for a fact that Gigaparts wants to come to and have a vendor booth at the table.
I forgot to send you that email.
Yeah, a vendor booth at the show, I should say. So Gigaparts wants to come set up at the show. They tried to do it this year. They couldn't get tables because it sold out so fast. They want to do that next year. So Shane went around and asked a couple guys, who do we talk to about buying a table for next year? And Shane got that info. I texted with Gigaparts already, so hopefully we can get that done. But Colin and I had a great idea about, let's advertise this and come up here and say, hey, meet us at the Moore Expo, these dates in this weekend in April, Springfield, Missouri, and we can all get there when the gates open on Thursday, drive in together, kind of form like a semicircle, 5-6 trucks, whatever. People parking next to us on the outside, that's fine too. And we're going to form like a little ham radio, David Koresh type thing in the center there. We're going to put up the Buddy Hex beam and have a big ham radio.
Get people on the air.
Yeah.
Have them do
get
some
people on the air.
Wait, didn't Koresh's didn't his thing go down in flames? We don't want.
Yeah,
I don't want our.
Yeah.
Well, we did have a diesel here.
We need
to
be more successful about it than he was. But yeah, but I mean, and have just a ham radio party there, because it's really fun to get outdoors and go camp and whatnot. I tried to do this at Rendezvous in the Ozarks last September, October, whenever it was, because that Rendezvous in the Ozarks is another sort of similar event. It's an overlanding event, and it takes place inside of a national forest. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah, we can go set up the hex beam, get people on the air, activate POTA the whole weekend. It was really windy that weekend, so we didn't get to do what we got to do. I didn't get to set up the hex beam. We did activate the forest, the park, but I just think I think this would be a really fun time. Just Springfield, Missouri is not. It's not a. I mean, you're not gonna have snow and ice. It's not really far north. It was kind of cold every night, so you're going to want to bring warm blankets and diesel heaters and, whatever you want to camp in. But I just think this would be a fun ham radio opportunity for the future. What did it
get down to?
I think
it was 35. It was 35 when I was there, and I got up this morning because I knew those guys stayed last night, and it was like 30. When I looked at it, it was like 30, 31. So you guys got like below freezing last night.
It was winter field day conditions.
Yeah.
So go back to your picture. Whose tent was whose, and what tent stuff that was?
So
there?
Kyle and I both had the Gazelle tent T3. And that's mine in the back and his in the front. They're both green. They look exactly the same. And then Shane had the rooftop tent there, the gray rooftop tent there.
How was that?
So I'm still getting used to it. The pad that's in that is not quite enough, so I have an air mattress that I'm going to use to kind of beef that up. Other than that, it was great. Yeah. If you close all of the windows and close it in, it actually stays decently warm. I don't know how it would have. I only had a sleeping bag. If I'd have had like another blanket or two, I think it wouldn't have been as bad. But I did get a little chilly. Yeah. One night, I didn't. My face and my head did, because everything else in my sleeping bag's good down to 20 degrees. And but I had to, one night I had to put I have a bald head anyway. I had to put a beanie on in the middle of the night because my head got cold.
Yeah.
Well, you're up off the ground, which is kind of nice, but on the other hand, you lose the insulation that's coming from the ground.
Yeah, so they're underneath. So the bottom of that is a hard bottom, and it's got a little bit of insulation between the two pieces of metal that are on the bottom, and then the mattress kind of has a Velcro pad that it sticks to.
Mhm.
So I don't know what the R rating is on that pad. It's not enough. Everybody that I've seen says they'll put like a space blanket underneath it, or they'll put something to kind of reflect heat back up.
Mm-hmm.
But also they said if you put an extra 2.5, 3 inches in there, that it will absorb some of the cold stuff anyway.
Very nice. I am looking at that Gazelle tent. I haven't bought it yet, Jason.
It's great.
I'm just waiting for a true camping thing I'm going to do to buy it.
Yeah.
But I just was curious on Shane's rooftop tent there.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay Baker put in there, says it looked like they were a real pain to get in and out of. It's not at all, because I have the doors closed, but if you roll that top door out, you just go right up the ladder and slide right in. It's easy in and out.
What's the setup time?
30 minutes, I think, to get everything situated. I mean, the tent itself, it clamshells together. So, but by the time you put the rods and get everything up and get situated, probably 20, 30 minutes, I think.
The Gazelle tent is about 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
how many of those rooftop tents? So Jason's picture, I've seen one.
400.
400.
Yeah.
Wow. 450.
Everyone had. Most everyone had a rooftop tent. There were a lot of Gazelle tents also, but there was probably 3 to 4 to 5 times as many rooftop tents. That's what most people were doing. And I think it's
regular tents, but most of them were Gazelles.
Yeah, most of them were Gazelles.
That was definitely a Gazelle show.
Yeah.
I really like their stuff.
Well, that
so
the Gazelle 2 route. We'll get to that in a minute. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, John AC1PD. It's John B in Connecticut. I passed all 3 amateur radio tests thanks to your videos.
Nice.
Wow. Proud holder of an extra license class. AC1PD.
Congrats, man.
Congrats, man. Thanks for being here tonight, buddy. You beat me to extra. Not that that's hard to do. So yeah. But yeah. So anyway, so I will mention. I meant to mention this at the front. We do have a hard stop at 8:00 tonight because Kyle is going live to talk about Hamvention coming up in like 3 weeks.
Woo!
So
if you asked,
it's like 3 or 4 weeks.
3 weeks, 4 days.
Yeah, there you go. 3 weeks, 4 days. So yeah. So we do have a hard stop tonight. Kyle, feel free to share your URL link in the chat.
We'll do.
You have mods, so you should be able to do that.
Share your URL.
So we got a half hour. So yeah, so if you guys are interested, look at basically this. They haven't set the dates yet. Look at basically this weekend for next year, and let us know. And Kyle reminded me of something yesterday, the day before, and I kind of forgot this. This year the show was Friday and Saturday, and everyone just spent the night Saturday. We all got up, packed up, and left this morning. Last year they had the show on Sunday also. I think it ended at like noon or something like that. So I'm not sure why they shortened it this year. And I don't know what they're going to do next year, but it doesn't matter. I mean, there were a lot of people who bailed yesterday afternoon. I mean, there's a lot of people who just didn't camp Saturday night at all. They bailed before the show went until 8 p.m. last night, and a lot of people bailed at like mid-afternoon or something like that. So you don't have to stay for the whole thing. But if you guys are interested, if anyone's interested in perhaps going to the show next year, look at your calendar for 2024, second, third weekend in April, something like that. Mark it down tentatively, and we would love to get a really good group of hams out there to hang out, kind of, just chill out for 2 or 3 nights, put up the hex beam, do some POTA hunting, walk around the show, that kind of thing. So I think it'd be a fun event.
If we can get some critical mass on, so your idea of kind of making a semicircle and putting a station in there and having it going full blast, having a sign out there that says, want to get on the radio, want to learn about ham radio. It's like a go-to station at field day, right? But
correct.
The great thing about putting it out there is you have probably hundreds of people walking by to go to the show, to just to look at campers and tent setups and whatnot. I mean, if we can get there early and get a place up there by where they had the music every night, where people walk by constantly, you could literally get ham radio in front of probably 1,000 people.
Yes.
Let me talk to you about our Lord and Savior SWR.
And I am getting selfishly, I am getting into the overlanding world because I enjoy that type of thing. I've always enjoyed. I've never been a big off-roader, but I've always kind of thought, oh, it'd be cool to do this someday. We do a little bit of four-wheeling at the deer lease, but it's more out of necessity. So we don't go out and jump in curbs or jump in rocks and whatnot. We just drive out there because we have to get to certain places. But I always thought it'd be cool. And when I started to do some research 3 years ago, something like that, and I found there's people actually searching YouTube for the term ham radio overland. And I have been incredibly surprised about the ham radio community that already exists inside of this community. And I think it's a cool marriage between the two. I think it's a cool adjacent hobby. It's fun to do. Shane, why don't you tell him about that Beaver Bend place?
Oh yeah.
Or Beaver whatever it's called.
Yeah, so it's up at Lake Broken Bow. And
okay.
I didn't realize that. Well, there's a POTA park up. There's 3 POTA parks that are all like right there together, but there's a wildlife management area that encompasses almost the whole western side of Broken Bow Lake, and they've got lots of trails up there that are in and around. And there's it's called Mary something or other. I think it's Mount Mary. I'll double check. But anyway, it's a trail that you could, as long as it's not wet, you could probably do in a 2-wheel drive. But if it's rained or so, you'd probably need at least 4-wheel drive to get up there. But on the top of this hill, it overlooks Lake Broken Bow. So you have this fantastic view of one of the big bends there in Lake Broken Bow, and it's dispersed camping. It's open camping. Once you get to the top, you can't go anywhere else. It's a turn around and go back down. So it's it's drive in, drive out.
Yeah.
But just the pictures that I found online, the Google images, it looks fantastic. And I'd love to get a group of people to go up there. And since it's a POTA, we can set an antenna up and just every time, just rock the Parks on the Air activation there.
Yeah. So Shane and I are talking about doing that here in a few weeks upcoming. We should go scope it out one time, and then
that'd be cool.
Say, hey, this is how it looks. This is what you need to do. But I've always thought it would be really, really fun to find an overland trail, not a tough one, not a rock crawling,
not a technical one,
not a rock crawling. You need a Jeep trail, nothing like that. Just some kind of off-road trail that's in a national park, forest, state park, something that you could drive through and get to a certain destination. And it's a POTA activation when you get there. I've always thought that would be really fun to do, and that's what Shane's talking about.
If it's on one of my off Fridays, I'll love to be there.
We can probably plan it that way. We got to mess with we got to schedule around Shane's weird schedule. But
I know.
That's a thing. But
yeah, it's I think it's from what the pictures I've seen, it's gorgeous. I would like to drive up there sometime just to go do the trail. And because I've been told that if the peak is because we were thinking about getting there on a Sunday, because I know it's kind of, and the thing about the places that are hard to get to is there's not going to be a lot of people that were willing to put that effort to get up there.
Yeah.
And it kind of prevents it being overcrowded and stuff like that. But if we were to get there on like a Sunday or something, you stay Sunday, Monday, come home Tuesday, then we could probably avoid the crowd if there is one, depending on the time of the year, of course.
Right.
But yeah, and there's other places, if that one's taken, as you come down the trail, there's pullouts that are over there off to the side that you just pull over and make camp. Like I said, it's dispersed camping, so you kind of do what you want.
That's great.
I would love to do dispersed camping. That sounds so much fun. It's off the grid. You bring your own anything. If you do it right, don't have to run a generator. That just sounds amazing to me.
Bring a shovel.
Well, yeah.
We ran the entire weekend without generators. We used solar panels, batteries, a couple of EcoFlow power stations, and buddy heaters and diesel heaters. So we ran the whole weekend. Well, I say the whole weekend. Thursday night, Friday night, and Kyle and I were there last night. We had no electricity all weekend. And you know what? I didn't miss it. I got a 12-volt fridge. I've got 4 solar panels with me. The biggest one, my 300-watt solar panel. When I got there Thursday afternoon, my secondary battery in the truck was at like 46, 47%, something like that. It's a 200 amp hour battery. I had plenty of juice left, no problem. So I put the 300-watt Gigapart solar panel on the truck Friday morning, And by that evening, it was like up to 60% or something. And the sun was out at full force on Saturday. It went from 60 to 100% on Saturday. When I left this morning, I had 100% battery power on my second battery. It was awesome. In fact, I got
a little sun while we were there too.
I did too. Yeah, my face is. You can't see it in the camera right now. My face is red.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't get my light balanced. I just got a little
redness
in the face.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I wanted to go over the things that I bought also because like I said, I was counting today on the drive home by myself, and I was like, no, I didn't buy that. No, I didn't buy that. No, I couldn't remember the Go Treads, but yeah, that's I was like, I'm pretty impressed with this the stuff that I did not buy. So,
you were restrained.
Yes,
but we should talk about how big the show was from last year to this year.
Yes, very much so. Go ahead, Kyle, if you want to do that.
Yeah, so last year, whenever Jason and I went, I didn't even know how, if Jason said, hey, I'm going to this, you want to go with me? I think, Jason, you said, I'm going to this.
I did. I hit you up, and honestly, I hit you up because I think you and I had talked about something similar beforehand. But the real reason I hit you up, Kyle, is because it's in Missouri. Yeah. I'm like, how far are you from Springfield? And you're like, 3 hours. I'm like, hey, do you want to go to this? And I thought you'd say, yes. I gave you 50-50 of saying yes, but you seemed into it.
So we rolled down there last year, and the camping area was the same size as it was this year, but it was there was probably, I don't know, Jason, 50 people camping, maybe 60
last
70?
year. Yeah.
If that. Okay.
Yes.
So, and it was at Ozark Fairgrounds, which I think is Springfield proper, their county fairgrounds. And they've got a couple of buildings, and then they've got parking in front of the building, but they've got a ton of parking since it's a county fairgrounds, right? So last year was, all right, there was 3 or 4 rows outside where people had set up their rigs, people had set up canopies, and they were selling stuff and the general stuff you'd see at a ham fest, right? And then you had all the inside stuff, right? And there was a lot of space in one of the rooms. There's 3 big rooms, and in one of the rooms, there was a lot of space between each booth and whatnot. This year, so Shane and Jason got to the camping area at 3:00, and I left. Yeah. I left St. Louis at 1. Shane hits me up on Discord and said, "You need to come down here right now because the camping is sold out." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
It was unbelievable the amount of people in that campground.
Yeah.
I think they oversold it.
Oh my gosh, there was so many people in that campground, but it was great. It wasn't like I thought I was crowded. I didn't feel like I was crowded. It was just like there was a ton of people. Then we went up to the show, and it has doubled since last year. It was amazing.
The outdoor vendor area last year was about 1/4 the size of what it was this year. The indoor vendor area was a little bit full. I mean, there's only so many people you can get in those 3 big halls. It was pretty darn full last year. I think when you walked in the door and went right, that was about the same as it was last year. When you walked in the door and went left, I think they stuffed a few more in that way over there. But yeah. T-Ray wants to know if you brought the sun drop with you.
Yeah, I just messaged him. Is the frog butt watertight?
Of course he did.
Yeah. I got to drink a sun drop this weekend.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But Kyle makes a damn mean taco too.
Yes. Yeah.
That was good. It was good.
Yeah, those of you who were at the campsite at Hamcation last February, Kyle redid some of his cooking skills for the.
Quick question: you keep talking about the park that you camped at. How far was the park from the expo?
10 minutes.
Ooh, beautiful.
Oh, no.
Okay, so
we were on the same property.
So
it was a 10-minute walk.
Right. Okay. So it was it wasn't a park that we camped at. It was a fairgrounds. Okay. The 3 of us went Friday morning and drove 10 minutes up the highway to a POTA spot and activated a park. I had that in my head for some reason.
That's
so we activated a POTA spot that was 10 minutes away, but the actual fairground, it's the Ozark
Empire.
Ozark Empire Fairgrounds is where is where the whole show takes place. It's right there. It's as close to walk from the campsite to the show as it is at Dayton.
Okay.
You're walking from the RV to the show at Dayton. Well, maybe a touch farther, but depending on where you end up camping
I was
at the show.
Just wondering, and I think I saw it a couple times in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Thank
know,
you for the
so-
super chat, Digital Dreamer. I get you mixed up with Digital Rancher is Rob, W5ITR. Digital Dreamer, where are you? For some reason, I want to think you're in Hawaii, but come hang out with us, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, Digital Rancher, Digital Dreamer in the chat. I'm like, you guys are confusing me. Who's? I know Rancher is Rob. He's a W5ITR. So
We should just call him Ranch Dreamer.
yeah.
Just combine them.
Yeah. So here's the Go Treads that Shane and I both bought. These are great for stackable something that you drive up on top of and can level. Because we got there. I say we got there late. We only got there 2 hours after they opened the campground, but we had to park on somewhat of an incline. It wasn't too steep. But Shane, the first night, he was like, "Yeah, I almost fell out of the tent because my truck was."
I woke up and my feet were like pushing against the zipper door. I was like, "Wait a minute! I had to inchworm myself back
Shane
up.
almost got ejected from his tent.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to have the door zipped shut. I'd have come out like a salamander.
So, how are those supposed to work?
They go up. You drive up on top. It's got 4 levels. And you just drive up on top. You set them at 1, 2, 3, or 4 levels. You just drive up on top of them on your passenger side or your driver's side, so that your truck gets leveled if you're on a hill.
So you just stack 1 to 2
Yeah,
to 3
I'll
to
share
4,
the other. Jason, I'll drop the other picture in there of my tire. I just didn't drop it in there.
All right.
The problem with that campground, the problem that they allow camping in is there's a flat spot up at the top, but then it dips down into a valley. And whenever we were down on one of the sides of the hills, and there were some people, there was a guy that was right across from us that it was like in a gully, probably 15 foot across.
He was camping in the ditch.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
I felt bad for him.
So, yeah.
I mean, they totally oversold that campground.
Yeah, I think they did. It seemed like it was kind of squashed in some places. People camping kind of right next to each other. But even with that, I didn't feel like it was crowded.
I didn't either.
I mean, it was.
Well, we were kind of spread out.
We were kind of spread out. We got there in enough time where we got enough room. And here's the thing. They didn't have the campsites marked. So it's like, okay, you guys go in together. And like, okay, do we took a 10-foot or 12-foot section? They're just like, just go up there. I'm like, okay. So we actually took what I would consider 2.5 worth of spaces. But it's not marked.
3 rigs.
It's very, I know.
Yeah.
It's very dispersed camping.
Okay,
so we just kind of go up there. Yeah, I see it. Thanks. I grab it. But I mean, that's the, so you drive up on top of those like that, Frank.
Yeah, okay. Cool,
so
cool,
those
cool.
are originally designed to get you out of being stuck. So you would unfold all of those, put them underneath your tire. Your tire would grab them, and then it would get you out of a
So there'd be a long,
mess.
elongated,
So
like soft sand or beach.
Yeah, so you can stretch them out to get you out of a jam, or you can stack the panels on top of each other and make them where they'll level the vehicle.
Beautiful,
Right.
beautiful.
Right.
Yeah, it's great design. They've been doing this. The guy said he's been doing it for 25 years. He said that same design, and I was like,
they're definitely a good design. So they were there last year, and I kind of regretted not buying one. So I went ahead and picked up a set this year. Okay, so one last thing, and I meant to talk about more than this about these things we bought, but devosoutdoor.com, you guys have heard me talk about them on my shopping deal. Kyle bought one of their lights. They have an upgraded version of the light from the one I've displayed before, and they have now a solar panel that clips on top of it that charges the light. So I got the solar
take
panel.
Any pictures of those?
I did, yeah,
Okay.
but I'm gonna share the SeaSucker thing, but devosoutdoor.com, you can save 10% with my coupon code Jason10. But and those guys were there, and they're really nice. And now they have the one I got from them last year was micro USB charging, so it's really slow. Kyle bought one today. They have upgraded. It's USB-C charging now, so it charges like 3. If it's completely dead, it'll charge in like 3 hours. So pretty cool stuff. So this guy right here, we were walking through the outdoor parking lot, and we saw this SeaSucker, SEA sucker, and I'm like, okay, what is that? And they are, for lack of a better term, they are incredibly sturdy, stout, made in the USA suction cups that have these buttons on them, like you see right here in the picture.
They're pumps.
They're pump. Yeah. You put the suction cup on and you pump it, and they will stick to metal, glass.
Any flat surface.
Right. They were originally made for the marine community. That's why they're called SeaSuckers. You can put them on boats. He says they work great on RVs. And they have phone mounts, tablet mounts. They have a shelf. They have a wastebasket. They have 14, 15 other things. Well, we saw, I don't even know if they have a picture of that thing in here.
Yeah, I think it's in there.
Is it? Okay. They have a flagpole mount. That is, I saw that and I'm like, okay, tell me what this is. And they said, oh, that's to mount a flagpole, and you just stick it on the side. I don't see it. Stick it on the side of your truck or RV or whatever. And the small tube in it is like 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches, something like that. And I'm like, do you make one that's bigger than that? And he's like, no, but tell me what you're thinking. So we talked to him for 10 minutes about, Kyle, I'm watching the time. We talked to him for 10 minutes about how they should make a 2 1/4 inch so that they could fit like a Spider Beams mast or a DX Commander mast into. And then you just...
Pack-10 mast.
Pack-10, any kind of push-up
any kind
pole.
of mast.
Yeah, Gigaparts mast. So you SeaSucker, and that one has a dual suction cup with a pump on it. And you put it on your tailgate of your truck or your passenger door or wherever when you get to a park.
Or the window, anything.
Or the window, anything. And then, or the window on the back window in your truck so that it sits up higher and then you put the portable mast all the way to the ground or all the way to the bed of your truck. And now you've got a non-permanent mount on your vehicle for any kind of push-up pole, any kind of mast.
Yeah.
So we're talking to him about this and we're like, oh, and we're like, yeah, we would use it for ham radio. And then he's like, oh, ham radio. We're already designing an antenna mount for ham radio. And I said, what are you doing? Yeah, exactly. So I think from what I asked him if it was an NMO, and he said yes, but he didn't act like he knew what I was talking about. I think they're going to have a suction cup SeaSucker mount with an NMO on top and a coax coming off, I think. But they haven't come out with they're using something. So I just shared the link in the chat, SeaSucker.com. It is, some really cool stuff. I bought their phone mount, and I bought one of their Rotopax mounts.
Oh, you went back and got one.
I did.
Nice.
I did, yeah. Because I told him what I was doing, and Kyle and Shane were like, well, you should talk to Jason. He's got a huge YouTube channel. While that's true, I'm not really trying to, I'm not trying to bogart people here. So, but and then I went back the next day, and I'm like, you know what? I need a new phone mount, because my phone mount actually, when I was driving up there on Thursday, my phone mount charger that I have in the truck kept falling. I think it's just getting worn out. I've had it for a couple years. And I saw their SeaSucker phone mount, and you put it on the window, and you can have the shaft coming out this way, which is going to be too long, or you can have it coming this way. So I could set my phone in the mount, and then have it pointed towards the road if I want to do like a driving live stream, something like that. So, yeah.
They want to collaborate with both you and Kyle as to design something for ham radio.
Yes.
Just for those in the chat. They were very interested.
They seemed very interested in custom-made products. Again, they were made. Where were they? North Carolina, South Carolina?
Yeah,
somewhere.
I thought it was Florida.
Maybe it's Florida.
I think it's Florida.
Somewhere east, but they're definitely made in the USA.
Yep. And they do all the molding and everything in house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna email them and give them my ideas.
Yeah. They gave us both their card. They said to email them. So, I was impressed by that. I was like, it was, and we asked them. We said, what's the speed rating on these? And they said we have to say that it's 65 miles an hour, but we've tested it up to like 160.
160.
160 miles. And they're like, we can't really advertise it that way because it's not legal to go that fast. And I'm like, well,
their lawyer said, "Oh, you can't advertise over the speed limit."
Start selling them in Germany for the Autobahn.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know, but
you can do at least 75. That's everyone.
Yeah, it depends on where
somewhere else.
Depends on where you go, I guess.
But they had everything.
They had
like
everything.
Table. There's a table that you could suction to the side to the door of your car, and if you needed, you could put a radio on that and operate from the side. If you didn't have a table that you could set up, you could just stick it to the side of your door and just put your radio on top of it, and away you go.
Yep. Yeah. They had to. It was kind of something I was not expecting to see, and I'm like, man, this is a good idea. You could do a lot of stuff with this. So yeah, it was a cool. We
gave away a lot of $1 million ideas.
Yeah, we did. We said, hey, do this, do this, do this, and they're like, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys need to come to. freaking.
we would walk around and be like, "Oh, that's great. Have you ever thought about using it for ham radio?" And they're just like, "What?" And we're like, "Let me tell you a 30-second story.
Let me tell you about my Lord and Savior is
right.
And first you get the cocked head like a dog, yelling at your dog, and then you get the cha-ching in the headlights, and they're just like, I have no idea. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. So we're like proselytizing amateur radio the entire weekend. It was a fun event.
Did you talk about we hadn't talked about the little badges either. Those guys are making those custom badges.
No. Yeah.
So
we'll talk. No badges.
We've only got
awesome.
We've only got 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I
do want to say, Jason, we did miss something because they have this thing called the S'more to Moore, and I didn't realize what that was. But that's a Southern Missouri off-road ranch. It's a 100-mile course that starts at that ranch and ends at the fairgrounds. And it's not super technical, nothing that. And they give you and it's a contest. So we should look at
I didn't realize it was a contest.
Yeah, so the idea is to get as close to the par time as you can. Okay. Because they have if you can get as close, because the book that they give you has like landmarks that you have to navigate by and where to turn and all that. But we should do that next year.
So Justin did that last year, and he was talking about doing it again this year, but he said it was the exact same route, and he's like, I don't have any interest in doing the exact same route. But he said it was not technical at all. Yeah, it was really easy to do. So Kyle, go ahead and drop if you need to.
Yeah, I gotta go.
All
right, see you guys later.
Yeah, see you, man. You guys go check out Kyle's channel. He's going to talk about Hamvention upcoming in 3 weeks, as soon as we end here. So long story short, this was a fantastic show. It was a good way to get out and use ham radio, but also promote ham radio to people who might not have heard ham radio. And like I said this last year, and I'll say it again now about this year's show. There are people there who with call signs that didn't bring their radios. That's a problem I want to try to fix. And I would like to get more of you who are out there. I saw Prep Ham Paul. I saw that you said earlier that you were going to try to go, but something with work came up. You weren't able to go. So I want to try to, and we'll talk, we got a whole another year till this happens again. But between now and then, somewhere around February, March of next year, I want to try to start pushing this a little bit harder and saying, okay, guys, take this weekend off, even if you can come out for one night. If it's only a couple hour drive for you, come out for one night, hang out with us, and make plans to come out here and just be an ambassador for ham radio at the Moore Expo, because nice group of people. The people who put it on are great. The people you meet there are great. So you get some really cool ideas for how to, I'm walking through this show the whole time looking at stuff that I could put on my truck to do a better POTA operation. Honestly, that's what I was looking for. And I'm like, even if you have to crawl up, either hike or drive up a mountain and camp for a night, I was like, okay, well, I need a new sleeping bag. I need this.
The tire table. That was ingenious.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, those are great. So, but yeah, we had a really fun time. Really great. Glad we went. And we'll absolutely be doing it next year, barring any unforeseen circumstances. So yeah, that's a cool thing. So thanks for sharing that link to Kyle, Mike. I will pin that to the chat. You guys go check out Kyle's stream. That will start here in about 2 minutes. He said he'd start right after I ended. So if I go a couple minutes over, he'll start right after I do. So. Shane, what's coming up for you, bud? You got that Quan Shang video that's doing really well, right?
So I want everybody who's in here that's subscribed. If you haven't subscribed to my channel is this side of the radio. You can do youtube.com / at K5QBF. I have a 3,500 subscriber goal that I'm doing, and since this video came out, I've picked up almost 200 new subscribers. Awesome. So I'm doing that. I'm going to do a PC programming video of that same radio.
Good.
But that'll be good. And then after that, I have a Zygu antenna that I've got to take to Jason's deer lease and put up. And I have a DX Commander Expedition to build.
Wow.
I think I have 3 of those waiting for me at my mailbox that I got to go get tomorrow. So we're going to do a DX.
Build one of them.
Yeah, we're going to build one of them. We're going to give away 2 DX Commander Expeditions on this channel sometime in May, sometime before Hamvention.
That's the one I have, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the more.
Did you bastardize? You just took the mast out and left all the parts in there?
That's right. Yeah.
I promised that we were going to build it with Jason, and we never really got.
We never got. But now I have an expedition. I didn't have an expedition before. Mine was a classic.
Yeah,
so now I have an
want to do a
expedition,
build
so.
party.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. So cool, man. Thanks, Shane. It was fun hanging out with you this weekend. I hope you
Thanks
can
for the
make plans
invite.
to go next year. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, Frank, what's coming up for you?
Coming up, I have a video coming up Monday. We're going to be talking about the Morse Monkey and the new things coming out with the version 2 of the hardware. Okay. And we have a 3D printed case for it, and
awesome.
Where to find that. So I'm trying to create the thumbnail, and it will be out Monday.
Cool.
Monday.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, I'd like to get Scott back on the show sometime and talk about the updates he's made. We'll do a live stream with it.
Yeah, you'll love to.
All right. Kyle is planned to go live, so you guys go over to Kyle's channel. I pinned that link in the top of the chat. Yeah, moreexpo.com. Go check out that website. Put it on your calendar for next year. Let's just have a complete ham radio dropping and takeover of the show next year. So
Ownage.
Invasion. Ham radio invasion, like we did Huntsville last year. So 73 all, thanks for watching tonight, 73. And we'll see you this week sometime.